87 times 0. Any number times 0 is 0, so that's our answer. 24 plus 4 plus 4. So we're adding three numbers together, and with addition, order doesn't matter. So for these questions, I like to start by adding the smaller numbers together, and 4 plus 4 is 8. Then we can add the other number in our question, so add 24 to 8. 8 plus 4 is 12, so 1, 2. 1 plus 2 is 3, so our answer is 32. Now, 6,050 minus 1,000. Our answer is 5,050 because we start with 6 thousands, we're taking 1,000 away, so in our answer we have 5 thousands and all the other digits stay the same. We could also use column subtraction for this. 0 minus 0 is 0, 5 minus 0 is 5, 0 minus 0 is 0, and 6 minus 1 is 5. But where you can, especially for these early questions, try to use mental methods rather than the column method to save time. 394 plus 8. We could use column addition for this, making sure we've got our 8 ones underneath the 4 ones. So 4 plus 8 is 12, 1, 2. 1 plus 9 is 10, 1, 0. And 1 plus 3 is 4. So our answer is 402. But we could have used mental methods here. Starting from 394, if we add 6, that takes us to 400. Then, from 400, if we add another 2, we get our answer. And that's because adding 6 and then adding 2 is the same as adding 8 altogether. Now, 805 divided by 1. Any number divided by 1 is just that number, so our answer is 805. 873 plus 19. We can set this out as a column addition, making sure we've got our digits lined up on the right hand side. 3 plus 9 is 12, so 1, 2. 1 plus 7 plus 1 is 9, and 8 plus nothing is 8. So our answer is 892. 4 times 12. We should know this one, but if we don't, we can count up in steps of 12 4 times. So that's 12, 24, 36, and the fourth multiple of 12 is 48. So that's our answer. Now 72 divided by 6. Remember, division problems can be read backwards as multiplication problems. So this question is really asking us what times 6 is 72. Well, 12 times 6 is 72, so 72 divided by 6 is 12, so that's our answer. Now, if we don't know our multiplication facts, we should at least know that 10 times 6 is 60. If we add another 6, we know that 11 times 6 is 66. And then if we add 6 more, we have 72. And because that's 12 times 6, we know that 72 divided by 6 is 12. Now, 2,639 plus 4,998. We can set this out as a column addition. 9 plus 8 is 17, so 1, 7. 1 plus 3 plus 9 is 13, so 1, 3. 1 plus 6 plus 9 is 16, so 1, 6. And 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 7. So our answer is 7,637. Now, though we're adding 4-digit numbers, we could actually have used mental methods for this, because notice the number 4,998 is just 2 less than 5,000. So if we add 5,000 to 2,639, we get 7,639, because 2 plus 5 is 7. But that's adding 5,000, and we only want to add 4,998. So here we've added 2 too many. So we need to adjust by subtracting 2, and that gives us our answer. So if we add 5,000 and then take away 2, that's the same as adding 4,998, because 4,998 is 2 less than 5,000. 824 minus 268. We can set this out as a column subtraction. We can't do 4 minus 8, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 14 minus 8 is 6. Now we can't do 1 minus 6, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 11 minus 6 is 5, and 7 minus 2 is 5. So our answer is 556. Now 5/9 plus 5/9. So when we're adding fractions, the denominator stays the same in our answer. We have a common denominator of 9, so the denominator in our answer is also 9, and then we just add the numerators. So 5 plus 5 is 10, so as an improper fraction, our answer is 10/9. Now we could change that back into a mixed number by dividing. 10 divided by 9 is 1 remainder 1, then the denominator stays the same, so we could write our answer as 1 and 1/9. 0.15 is what as a percentage? Now, after the decimal point, we have our tenths column, and then we have our hundredths column. So, what we can do is, if we ignore the decimal point, because the last place value in our number is the hundredths, we can just write the numbers in the decimal over 100. So 0.15 is 15 over 100. Now we know that a percentage is just a fraction over 100. So our answer is 15%. And notice that it's not 15 over 100%, because the percentage sign already tells us over 100. Now, if we're not sure about this, we can break it down. We know that this 1 is in our tenths column, so stands for 1/10, and we know that this 5 is in our hundredths, so stands for 5/100ths. Now 1/10 is the same as 10/100ths, because we can find an equivalent fraction by multiplying by 10. 10 times 10 is 100, 1 times 10 is 10. So now, if we add the 5/100ths, the denominator stays the same. 10 plus 5 is 15, so we've got 15 over 100, which is 15%. 2 times 5 times 3. Well, 2 times 5 is 10, and then we can take that 10 and multiply it by the last number in our question. And 10 times 3 is 30, so that's our answer. 8.6 plus 5.6. We can set this out as a column addition. We need to make sure that we have the decimal points lined up, and then, so that we don't forget, we can copy the decimal point down into our answer straight away. Now we just add as we normally would. So 6 plus 6 is 12, so 1, 2, and 1 plus 8 plus 5 is 14. So our answer is 14.8. 962 divided by 5. So using expanded division, if we do 9 divided by 5, well, the closest number that's in the 5 times table to 9, but is still less than 9, is 5. And because that's 1 times 5, we write 1 in our answer line. Now we subtract and bring down. 9 minus 5 is 4, and we bring down the next digit. So bring down the 6, and we have 46 divided by 5. Now the closest number to 46 in the 5 times table, which is still less than 46, is 45. And because 45 is 9 times 5, we write 9 in our answer line. Now we need to subtract and bring down again. 46 minus 45 is 1, and we can bring down the 2, so we have 12 divided by 5. Now 12 isn't in the 5 times table. The closest number to 12 in the 5 times table, which is still less than 12, is 10. And because 10 is 2 times 5, we write 2 in our answer. But now notice when we subtract, 12 minus 10 is 2, and we don't have any more digits to bring down. So this 2 here tells us that we have remainder 2. We could also use short division. 9 divided by 5 is 1 remainder 4, because 1 times 5 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Now 46 divided by 5 is 9 remainder 1, because 9 times 5 is 45, plus 1 is 46. Now 12 divided by 5 is 2 remainder 2, because 2 times 5 is 10, but then we need 2 more to get to 12. So our answer is 192 remainder 2. Now 21,125 minus 9,608. So we can set this out as a column subtraction, making sure we've got the digits lined up on the right hand side. We can't do 5 minus 9, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 15 minus 9 is 6, 1 minus 0 is 1. We can't do 1 minus 6, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 11 minus 6 is 5. Now 0 minus 9 we can't do, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 10 minus 9 is 1, and 1 minus nothing is 1. So our answer is 11,516. Find 6/7 of 63. So to find a fraction of a number, we divide it by the denominator and then multiply that answer by the numerator. The way I remember this is divide denominator times top. So we start with 63 divided by 7, so dividing by the denominator. That's 9 because 9 times 7 is 63, but now we need to take that 9 and multiply it by the numerator, so times top. And 9 times 6 is 54, so that's our answer. 75.3 divided by 10. So when we're dividing a decimal, or when we're multiplying or dividing a decimal by 10, 100 or 1,000, we always start in the same way. We write out our number and then we copy down the decimal point into the square below. Now we're dividing, so the number is going to get smaller, which means digits are moving to the right. And we're dividing by 10, which has 1 0 on the end, so the digits are moving 1 square to the right. So we can copy this 3 down, 1 square to the right, do the same with this 5 and with this 7. So our answer is 7.53. Now 36.21 times 100. Again, when we're dividing or multiplying by 10, 100 or 1,000, we always write out the number, then copy down the decimal point below. But this time we're multiplying, so the number is getting larger and the digits are moving to the left. And we're multiplying by 100, which has 2 zeros on the end, so the digits are moving 2 squares to the left. So if we copy down this 3, 1, 2 squares to the left, do the same with this 6, this 2, and this 1, we now have the decimal point at the end of our number. And if we have a decimal point on the end of a number, we just have a whole number. So that's 3,621. Now, if you're not sure, you could write 3,621.0. So with these questions, if you're not sure, put in the zeros because you'll still have the right answer. Now, 50 times 40. Well, we don't need to use column method for this because we're multiplying two multiples of 10, two numbers that end in a 0. So we know that 5 times 4 is 20, and that means that 50 times 40 is 2,000. That's because if we have two end zeros in the question, we need two end zeros in the answer. Now it might look like we have 3 end zeros in the answer, but remember, this 0 here we got by multiplying 5 by 4, so we don't count this 0 here as an end 0. Instead, we write the answer to 5 times 4, count up the zeros in the question and put them on the end. So our answer is 2,000. 1,083 times 7. So we can set this out as a column multiplication. And if we're using expanded multiplication, we need 4 answer lines because we have 4 digits in our number. Now, 3 times 7 is 21. We need a 0 in our second answer line because we're multiplying by the tens digit, so a 0 in our ones, and 8 times 7 is 56. Now we need 2 zeros in our third answer line because we're multiplying by the digit in our hundreds, but 0 times 7 is just 0. For our fourth answer line, we need zeros in our hundreds, tens and ones because we're multiplying by the digit in our thousands, and 1 times 7 is 7. So we just add up our answer lines and we have our answer. We could also use short multiplication here. So 3 times 7 is 21, so 2, 1. 8 times 7 is 56, plus the 2 that's on top gives us 58, so 5, 8. 0 times 7 is 0, plus the 5 on top is 5, and 1 times 7 is 7, so our answer is 7,581. Find 1/4 of 308. So normally to find a fraction of a number, we divide denominator and times top. But here, our numerator is 1, so we have a unit fraction, which means that all we need to do is divide by the denominator. So we need to work out 308 divided by 4. If we're using expanded division, Taking the first digit, we have a 3, but that's less than 4, so we take the first two digits together and divide 30 by 4. Now the closest number to 30 in the 4 times table, which is still less than 30, is 28. And because 28 is 7 times 4, we write 7 in our answer line. Now we subtract and bring down. 30 minus 28 is 2, and we bring down the 8, so we have 28 divided by 4. Now 28 is exactly 7 times 4. 28 is in the 4 times table, and because it's 7 times 4, we have a 7 in our answer line. Now we subtract, and 28 minus 28 is 0, so we don't have a remainder. Our answer is just 77. We could also use short division here. Again, if we do 3 divided by 4, that's just going to be 0 remainder 3. So if the first number is less than the number that you're dividing by, it's good to take the first two digits together. So 30 divided by 4 is 7 remainder 2, because 7 times 4 is 28, but then we need 2 more from 28 to get to 30. Now 28 divided by 4 is 7, because 7 times 4 is 28, so our answer is 77. 0.6 is equal to how many tenths? Now if we know decimal place value, then this question is easy. We know that the first digit after the decimal point is the tenths digit, so 0.6 is just 6 tenths. Now 93 times 28. 3 times 8 is 24, so 2, 4. 9 times 8 is 72, plus 2 is 74. Now we cross out our working, and we're going to now multiply 93 by 2, but because the 2 is in our tens, we need a 0 in the ones of our second answer line. Now 3 times 2 is 6, 9 times 2 is 18. So we can add up our answer lines. 4 plus 0 is 4, 4 plus 6 is 10, so 1, 0. 1 plus 7 plus 8 is 16, so 1, 6, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So our answer is 2,604. Now we have a 3 and a little 3, which we read as 3 cubed, and we're adding 5 and a little 2, which we read as 5 squared. So we have 3 cubed plus 5 squared. Now this cubed symbol means multiply the number by itself and then multiply it by itself again. So 3 cubed means 3 times 3 times 3. 4 cubed would be 4 times 4 times 4. 5 cubed would be 5 times 5 times 5, and so on. And we're adding 5 squared. And this squared symbol just means multiply the number by itself. So 5 squared means 5 times 5. So let's work out 3 cubed. 3 times 3 is 9, and then 9 times 3 is 27. So 3 cubed is 27. We're adding 5 squared, and 5 times 5 is 25. So we need to work out 27 plus 25. 7 plus 5 is 12, so 1, 2, and 1 plus 2 plus 2 is 5. So our answer is 52. 261.8 times 4. So we can set this out as a column multiplication, And if we're using expanded method, we need 4 answer lines because there are 4 digits in our top number. Now there's a decimal point in the question, so we need to make sure that we copy down the decimal point into our answer. If there's 1 decimal place in the question, there will be 1 decimal place in the answer. So now that we've done that, we can just multiply as normal, as if we were doing 2,618 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32. We need a 0 in our second answer line. 1 times 4 is 4. We need 2 zeros in our third answer line because we're multiplying by the third digit. 6 times 4 is 24. And now we need 3 zeros in our fourth answer line because we're multiplying by the digit that's 4 places from the right. So 2 times 4 is 8. And we can add up our answer lines to get our answer. We could also use short multiplication here. Again, we just need to remember that if there's 1 decimal place in the question, there will be 1 decimal place in the answer, so we copy down the decimal point. 8 times 4 is 32, so 3, 2. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7. 6 times 4 is 24, so 2, 4. And 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So our answer is 1047.2. 1 1/5 times 3. The way I like to multiply a mixed number by the whole number is to multiply the whole numbers together, then multiply the fraction by the whole number, then add up the answers. So 1 times 3 is 3, so we can work out 1/5 times 3 and then add up our answers. But remember, when we're multiplying a fraction by a whole number, we only multiply the numerator. We leave the denominator the same. So 1 times 3 is 3, but the denominator stays the same. So we have 3 plus 3/5, so that's our answer. We could also solve this by changing the mixed number to an improper fraction. So to do that, we multiply the whole number by the denominator, then add the numerator. So 1 times 5 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So we have 6/5 as an improper fraction because the denominator always stays the same. We're multiplying by 3, and to remind us that we only multiply the numerator, we could write 3 as 3 over 1. So 6 times 3 is 18. The denominator stays the same because 5 times 1 is 5. So as an improper fraction, we could write our answer as 18/5. And that works because to change an improper fraction back to a mixed number, we divide, and 18 divided by 5 is 3, remainder 3. So 3 as our whole number, the remainder 3 as our numerator, and the denominator stays the same. 5/6 minus 1/12. So we're subtracting fractions, but we have a problem here because to subtract fractions, we need the denominators to be the same. Now 12 is in the 6 times table, so we can find a fraction equivalent to 5/6, which has a denominator of 12. To find equivalent fractions, we use multiplication or division, and 6 times 2 is 12, and what we do to the denominator, we need to do to the numerator as well. 5 times 2 is 10, so we can rewrite our question. Instead of 5/6, we can write 10/12, because 10/12 is equivalent to 5/6. and we're subtracting 1/12. So now we have a common denominator. So the denominator stays the same in our answer, and 10 minus 1 is 9. So our answer is 9/12. 76.4 minus 1.95. So we need to be really careful when setting out this question. We have 76.4, but it's really important that the number we're subtracting, the decimal points are lined up, because if the decimal points are lined up, then the tens, ones, tenths and hundredths columns will be lined up as well. We can write 0 in empty squares, and so that we don't forget, let's copy the decimal point down into our answer straight away. So now we can subtract as normal. We can't do 0 minus 5, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front, and 10 minus 5 is 5. We can't do 3 minus 9, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front, and 13 minus 9 is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4, and 7 minus nothing is 7. So our answer is 74.45.